Once upon a time, there was a forest and there is a lake in it. Many creatures lived happily in that lake. There was a big tree on the bank of that lake. A squirrel built a nest on the top of the tree and lived there. The squirrel had only one child. That squirrel raised the child very lovingly. Every day it would go out and gather food in the forest and eat some and give some food to the baby. They used to live happily like that. One day the squirrel was fell asleep and at the same time the baby wanted to see what was outside the nest. So it was trying to climb up the nest and somehow managed to climb up the nest. Seeing the outside world for the first time and seeing the beautiful nature around is overflowing with happiness. It accidentally slipped and fell into the lake below. The little squirrel screamed loudly. The mother was shocked by listening its baby's voice. The squirrel came down on the spot. Meanwhile, her child drowned in the water. While it was crying because of losing its most valuable child, at the same time a fish came to the shore, grabbing the little girl from the water. Immediately the little squirrel which was got up from water and called her mother. When it heard that call, it was filled with life, and raised its head and looked up. It was touched and kissed the child with joy. Squirrel looked at the fish and thanked wholeheartedly. When the squirrel asked how to pay this debt of yours, then the fish said that your precious friendship is enough. My entire life is yours. I'll do whatever you want, my friend. So the two became best friends. The squirrel usually explained about trees, wind, earth, and animals. Fish tells about the life of water and aquatic creatures. So these two starts living happily. One day, Squirrel saw a fisherman coming towards the tree with a net on his whole shoulder. So the squirrel was afraid that he would take his dear friend and he will kill it. Then it came near to shore to warn his friend and escaped from that fisherman. The fish went and hid in a corner of the water. As expected, the fisherman took out his net and threw it into the water, but after a long time the fish did not fall. So he went further in and cast the net. Finally, the fish was caught in the net. He put the found fishes in the net on his shoulder and left. Squirrel immediately jumped on the top of the net because it was afraid that his friend would be captured and taken away. Squirrel beat the net near her friend. Then the fish fell down. The fisherman, who did not notice any of this, continued on his way. Squirrel caught the swimming fish with her mouth and dragged it into the water. As soon as it goes into the water, the fish goes deep and enjoys the moment, thinking that the lost life has returned. After a while, it came out and thanked to Squirrel heartily after seeing her best friends. The two lived happily together as before. So they helped each other and shared their problems and continued to live happily.